This is a sequel to this is a sequel to my previous summarizing and summing up with Corona, and the way events are proceeding have been taking place, totally ignoring it, and the way the world is going on. I want to add a few more things which I know, and which due to generation gap, the present generation doesn't know. For instance, in my college days, our teacher P.V. Ratnam, a PhD from Moscow Power Institute, he used to tell us that the undivided USSR and USA, they had agreements between themselves that they would not be drawn into an unintentional war, say an experimental flight taking place, or incidental bombing, or anything. Any incidental thing should not be lead to an intentional war. They were the agreements they had drawn between the two countries. But now what is happening? France is helping Ukraine. This is whether it is not entered declared and war, has not entered the war, but she is aiding Ukraine. Is virtually the same thing, because emotional things do happen. First World War took place the moment Prince of Bismarck was killed, and the two parties were drawn into war, and some more parties joining this side or other side. So the first world was started that way emotionally. Second World War to some extent. Third World War now is not yet a world war, which is a war between two countries, but it is slowly being drawn into. And the other, we had a recent war with nature versus man, that was Corona, and what were the lessons from that, and what we were doing with the main aspect of that was nature was got totally. If you take an extra terrestrial view, the way man has consumed the earth, the planet, the way he has drilled the holes throughout tunnels, channels, and all that, and the way environment has been spoiled or damaged. Say the use of plastic. They say shun plastic, but shun means plastic, the main content, no, main bodies, not the carry bag only, or the plastic water bottles. What we have to do? How much this problem has, without being attended to, they are saying that we are back to normal, and how much nature will retract if we go further. We have had one dose of Corona. We don't know how it will behave. The only if they stop the very manufacturing process of plastic, that is the main reason. And for that, what we have to, how much we can regress. This is a problem, and solution both to be composed by all the big intellectuals, philosophers. How much we can regress from the extent we have gone into plastic. That has to be specifically made. For instance, I can give an example that plastic water tanks on the house, they used to be concrete ones. That can be immediately replaced we can go back to concrete at that level. What about the small levels, typewriters, printers, etc., or the piping, etc.? For this, we have to do specific calculations, and what are the things we can shun, we have to stop. Those things have to be calculated. Then that is the homework for all the intellectuals. And other aspect of my request to these four, YouTube, Twitter, and these social media organizations, that all the top brains are working in the same place. There is a point loading, and so many other developments have taken place. If people working there, if they shift their brains to other places, all working on a cell phone, new models and new things and new developments within that, and some places I find indigestion. A message we have to sending, you are sending with bubbles, we are sending with a shock, we are sounding with heavy sound. All these are uncalled for things. People have been working on that, and these are two people are so intelligent. Especially my request to Bill Gates. Some of my students are there. If they are permitted and they are asked to come on to the human problems which were not there previously, I mean, say autism of children. If these people say the autism could be the child is speaking partially, he is not able to fully open his mouth to the extent, he is not able to speak out the word properly. It could be a compressive ventricle or anything in the neurology field. if these heavy intellectual brains, if they shift themselves to work on these problems, the very good solutions might come, and the humanity, it will be a great help to humanity. That is my request, appeal and prayer to Bill Gates and all the Intel people. I don't know the chief of the Intel's name because he is always inside. But other organizations also, if they let their top brains work for humanity, and if they don't want to come back to say Asian countries or the tropical countries because of already cold climate they are so accustomed, they can simulate the things and do some things there. One example I have done myself. I sent it to Lancet because I'm an electrical engineer converted to marine engineering. In the end, I'm doing neurological things, and I sent the problem. This is, for example, I put it already in my video. A circuit for stopping bleeding control circuit for some ladies. Post period, the change of period, that bleeding doesn't stop. And here my principle was the change of blood gives a signal, that is pH value, density, etc. That small signal could be sent to the brain by amplifying it. So it's a micro DC source, a sensor, and a PNP transistor, and the signal being given to brain. Blood itself then will be the negative source, negative terminal. This combination I sent it to Lancet. They said we are forwarding it to their interdisciplinary Halion magazine, and it was published there. Already I am telling, and I have given the circuit in the YouTube video also. And sometimes the solutions are much more simpler than any research. The moment we say research, many people say it is very complex. The complexity is in the brain, not in some problem may be concept, but the solution might be simple. I used to think for weak-hearted people, a motor might support, but much simpler than motor, the pulse circuit. The name itself is pulse, a triangular wave converted as pulse circuit. That helps. That pacemaker is such a simple circuit, and it has been useful to so many people, and so many people are equipped with that, and they live a normal life with that. Similarly, many solutions in this medical, especially neuro field, they are simpler than, and the people just shun away from, they go away from the saying it might be very complex. Initially, I was also scared of doing that because one fellow said, "It's all ladies' problem. Why are you bothered?" Then I found all gynecologists, major leading gynecologists in the city were male doctors. Then I said I can go ahead. I don't have to feel shy about it if there is a particular case. Similarly, this shaking, Parkinson's disease, mere touching of the electrode, wet electrode might stop. One lady was suffering. I told her to touch, but she refused to touch. She was walking, the way she was walking with her whole body shaking. I don't know why, she was scared of touching it. I said it might stop it, and already some solution has come in England, a stick or something they carry that carries all the equivalent. So similarly, a headgear, something containing all the requirements for many problems. So solutions are very simple. My request is, ask these very intelligent people. As I told you, some of my students are with Microsoft. Those on Intel, if they work on these problems, human problems, solutions might come, and it will be a great relief to the suffering humanity. That is my request, prayer and appeal and prayer.